Good morning, everyone. My name is Ali Jadbabai. I'm a faculty member here at MIT and one of the co-organizers of this conference. I'm delighted to welcome you all to MIT for our inaugural workshop on learning for dynamics and control. I'm just going to go quickly over the schedule. First, Ben, my co-organizer here, is going to say a few remarks for a few minutes. Then we'll have our first session. We'll have a coffee break at 10:30. There's no food or drinks allowed in the room, so you can have the coffee outside. We're going to have poster sessions at noon both days, and lunch is served during the poster session. The posters will be outside. Bathrooms are just when you walk out to your right. There are other bathrooms in the Koch Institute just across the street. If you have questions, please use the mics on both sides of the room. All talks are recorded. All posters will be, in addition to talks, will be posted on our website. I'm delighted that you're all here. And now, Ben, please get us started. Thank you.
All right. Welcome to the first meeting of the Conference on Learning for Dynamics and Control. Sorry, we're still not quite sure what the acronym is for, but we're working it together. Maybe that will be something that we'll discuss later, but the acronym will stay, L for DC. What those letters mean, up for debate. So anyway, thank you all for coming. I mean, this is amazing turnout for 8:45 on a cloudy day in Boston. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This meeting grew out of a fantastically successful workshop at last year's CDC. Again, the D and C, who knows what those things mean. But that was a great workshop on the intersections of learning and control. It was organized by George Papas, Pramod Karganikar, Manfred Morari, and Konstantinos Gastis. And that workshop, we already kind of found that they had to shut the doors and not let people in, which was crazy. Such an overwhelming support there. So the organizers here, we were just inspired by the success of that workshop, and we decided to try to do something a little bit bigger and to create kind of a new home to be fully shared by all these different communities, whether they be machine learning, control, decision theory. The goal was to bring together these researchers because they all kind of converged on a very set of similar research problems and research challenges. So we thought it was a bit ambitious to try to organize this on such short notice. I think we had about a 3-month lead time. And I know, we figured it's late May, everyone's going to be busy, traveling in Europe, doing all these things. But to all of our surprise, the response and the enthusiasm were just overwhelming, and you can see it here today. It's just astounding. Almost everyone we asked to speak said yes. And before we knew it, we had 400 people registered, including a lot of great young researchers, graduate students, and others. It's just really very inspiring. So over the next 2 days, what we're going to hope to learn is what exactly is everybody excited about. I think we'd argue, as the organizers would argue, that the excitement stems from the fact that kind of everything in machine learning, which of course has had its a tremendous amount of excitement over the past few years, but everything in machine learning now needs to consider feedback. Whether this, autonomous cars obviously are control systems, but any contemporary machine learning system that you connect in a complex feedback interaction with people is also a complex dynamical feedback system. Similarly, every complex control system that starts to push against the limits of what we know from classical control needs to consider data in some capacity. And so there are these new and exciting tasks in autonomy that require managing very unstructured data streams, high-dimensional data streams, and understanding how to do that in the appropriate way is an exciting challenge. So there's been a bit of a singularity, if you will, that's brought control and machine learning back together, and we're all here passionate to work at this intersection. And for whatever it's worth, I personally can't remember being so excited about something happening in research. Machine learning and control, there's a natural complement between the two of them, right? Machine learning uses data to learn about how to act, predict, decide things about the world. This data-driven approach allows an engineer to kind of obviate a lot of complexity that comes when you're in different environments and different sensing modalities and in very complex dynamical models. Controls, on the other hand, uses feedback to mitigate on the effects of dynamic uncertainty. Right? And that uncertainty might arise in the environment, in your sensing, or in your model. And so together, there's got to be this kind of merged perspective that can help us build new, safe, and agile autonomous systems. Now, recently, there has, of course, been a bit of an intellectual split between machine learning and control. And I'm only going to argue that this has been a recent phenomenon over the last maybe 20 years. And now a contemporary machine learning researcher can download PyTorch, import a few packages, and then immediately be solving complex motor control benchmarks. And they might never learn why negative feedback around an integrator is a good idea. On the other hand, a control engineer might understand all sorts of intricate complexities of loop shaping, but they might never appreciate how you can use the laws of large numbers to enable sharp quantification of uncertainty in their models or sensors. But I think if we think back historically, control and machine learning have had very strong historical connections. Much of the progress on adaptive control, on model predictive control, and on reinforcement learning has been made by researchers who historically straddled the boundaries between control and between machine learning. And in fact, some of the earliest breakthroughs in machine learning, such as margin theory, came from people who originally identified themselves as control theorists. Our program over the next few days features 19 stellar speakers whose research is trying to rebuild those bridges between these communities, between machine learning and control. We also have fabulous posters that were submitted by many researchers here, and we hope that you will have plenty of time to see all of those. And this afternoon, I think this is very important, we're going to try to have a discussion about the future plans for this community. We hope to make this conference a regular occurrence, and we invite everybody who's here to help us shape what the future of this nascent community would look like. Okay, so before we proceed, very importantly, we'd like to thank all of the excellent support staff at MIT who has made this possible. This is Doro Unger-Lee, Flavia Cardarelli, Laura Dorson, Brian Jones, Amy Kaiser, Jeremy Rosen, Aaron Schenk, and Kim Strample. All of them committed tireless work, and they all were instrumental in making this a reality. The logistics here would have been impossible without their dedication. We'd also like to thank the ARO, the AFOSR, the NSF, and the ONR, who all supported this event and are helping to create a new community. In particular, I would like to thank Kishan Baheti, Fariba Farhu, Sam Stanton, Behzad Kangar-Parsi, Brian Sadler, and Fred Lev for their advocacy and support. All right, so thank you all for coming, and here's to a fantastic 2 days of exploring the interface between learning and control. So with that, I'd like to hand the podium over to Melanie Zeilinger, who will introduce the first session. Thank you.